Hello, this is a test for the first video for home rolling and yoga complementary shapes. Take one. Okay, so the first place to start when you're working with the roller is, well, if you have a smaller one, you just have to do some more fidgeting and manipulation of your body so that you can get it to the right place. With the larger roller, you just have more surface area, so you don't have to fidget as much. So I'll try to instruct as best I can based on the smaller roller, understanding that there are some limitations to it. So the first place I usually start is my whole back body, so the whole spine from head to tail. So I'll show you from this angle what it sort of looks like when we get underneath the crown of the head. So here's sort of the orientation of the body, and when I get here I could very easily lay back like this and have my chin up, but what I really want is this chin tucking and the back of my neck getting longer so that I actually make a double chin, so that my back of my neck can be really long here. And so once I get here, I can just play with, sometimes you have to hold the roller if it starts to get out from that bottom ridge of your skull. Just start to take the head side to side, stretching out the neck, massaging the skull. So you can do this a few times, just a couple of minutes, and just start to get to open up in the neck and the back of the head. If you clench your jaw ever, this can really be quite painful or quite a bit of sensation. So just being really gentle and more curious about, like, whoa, what's going on one side to the other. And so as we move, just keep a couple things in mind. Mostly you're just breathing. There's no one right way to do this stuff. You can really get clever and curious about the way you move your body, and over time you sort of like develop a relationship with the roller, so you can just kind of go all kinds of crazy places and feel really comfortable. So let's come into the back, upper back. And when we start, we'll just start kind of kicking back here in the waist. So when we're anywhere below the shoulder blades, we really want to curl up so we protect the spine. And then we just use legs and feet to get the body to move on this roller. Might have to readjust from time to time, but you might notice you get to one side and there's quite a bit of sensation on that side of the spine, like where you dissociate your kidneys. There's a lot of attachment points there in this thoracic and lumbar meeting place. So kind of just taking it slow when you're in the waist, no rush to get anywhere, mostly just like trying to feel for those places on the sides as you rock side to side. And the roller will just start to move up to the shoulder blades. And so once we get to the shoulder blades, then we want to hold the head so that the spine is soft. And we'll use more feet and legs. We could lift the hips up. We can have elbows in, elbows apart, and just work this a little higher up. We can try it here, up and down. Yep. And then if that's not enough, then we lift the hips up and start to roll. Shoulder blades, bottom to top, elbows kind of like little butterfly wings, doing what they will. And then you can get clever and start to twist the body and get to the sides of the shoulder blades, twist the body, other side. And then if this starts to get, like, okay, I've gotten most of it, then just set the hips back down, roll over onto your side, reposition yourself on the roller so that it's right in your armpit. And this is your starting place. Knees are up in front of you so that you have a little counterbalance here. And you'll just kind of roll forward and then come all the way back. And you'll start to get into the back of the shoulder blade, or the side of the shoulder blade rather, back behind the armpit. And so you'll just rock back onto the side of that shoulder blade, adding intensity just to do this with the arm, just straightening it out. Maybe you hold the head here. So this is a lot of stuff built up back here, especially if you're on a computer a lot or drive. So just breathing into this shoulder blade area. You might even continue and roll out to the shoulder and tricep. There's just a lot you can do, but just kind of working this outer part of the body, arm, shoulder blade. And then when you feel ready to go to the other side, just come up and come to the other side. So that when we're in our armpit on this side, we first start holding the head here, and then we just lean back. And once we get there, then, there's the side of the shoulder blade. You can come a little lower if you're not getting enough. And there should be plenty in there. More intensity, just straighten the arm out. Rolling back onto that shoulder blade. And then when you're ready to come back through center, you just roll back, holding the head, rolling through, and then sitting the hips down and come all the way up. And now we could go into the lumbar spine. So you can spend quite a bit of time there. You can spend probably 5 minutes in each of these places, but at the very most, 7 to 8 minutes in these spots, just because they are very tender and you don't want to overdo it, poke the bear as it were. And then we'll come into the low back. So, bringing that roller all the way into that lumbar curve, using legs and knees to kind of roll around and get comfortable on it. And it's not going to be always comfortable. You'll have a lot of stuff going on here as you especially hit the sides. So like using your hand over here to kind of manipulate where the legs are really gets some good stuff on the sides. Your obliques, your pelvis, and then you can bring it to the other side, try those out. Really just exploring. Every body has different places. Every side is different. So just using your breath and what do you want to do to create the sensation here? And then you just start to move onto the roller toward the tail so you get more on this pelvic plate, and you go side to side again. So here's some stuff here. Knees in, knees out, side to side. One of my favorites is just extending the legs. And you sometimes have to hold the roller if it's slippery underneath you. But just flexing through the feet, so really thrust through the heels to find some stretch in the backs of the legs. You could open the legs out to a V, find that groin stretch. You could have your knees bent, and it's kind of like an upside down child's pose or a happy baby. Really great for the hips. So hamstrings, groin, hips. And then another really great one is to take one knee to the chest and let the other leg out long, so you are like an upside down lunge. And you're just really letting the legs separate and lengthen. You might add a straight leg for like an upside down splits. Really intense, but feels good. Just starting to coax the hips open. And then opposite leg. After you've been here for a while, maybe you try upside down splits. And then one of our favorites, once that knee is in the chest, just find a twist. Take it across the body, roll to that outer hip. On and off of it, there usually is quite a bit of sensation here. So on and off of that outer hip. You might be able to hold it here if you have some tolerance in your breath. You might come all the way over. So there's lots of places to work. You try the other side, take a twist, bring it over. Straighten the leg, keep it bent. All kinds of things you could play with. They just feel really good. And these are some of the favorites that we have. Another one that people love is ankle over the knee, and just pull those legs in to get a good stretch in the outer hip. So just really holding that leg in, and switch legs and find this other side. So just some good stretching. One of the reasons this one feels so good here is you get a nice gravity, so you don't have to work so hard to bring those legs up. It just kind of works for you. And then bringing the legs down, you have this really awesome opportunity to extend, and so your legs can go out long and your arms can come up top, and just have this really big long bridge. Yeah, and then so you get to play with all of these places. And when you're done in the lumbar, you just tuck those knees in and let the roller slide out. It usually goes slower, so you land flat. And once you've done all those movements, a really nice complementary stretch would be just to bring the bottoms of the feet together, maybe hook the hands and arms underneath the legs, and just let yourself round in. And just find this nice rounded spine so that you can kind of open up those areas that you just massaged. Head and neck are really heavy, and these hips just start to open up, the groin starts to open up. And you can be here for 5 minutes. These long held shapes are really good for your joints and connective tissues. So the longer you hold them and the more still you are when you hold them, the more release happens. And so if you can get to a place of stillness and just set a timer, 5 minutes, and be here in as much stillness as possible, it'll have the greatest benefit on all those connectors in your spine and your hips. It'll allow them to lengthen and release better. Another shape you could do once you've done that back body rolling is just a nice forward fold. So legs could be straight and you could bend in. You could also use the roller underneath the knees if your hamstrings are tight and fold in this way. And this is a great way to get the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, if you have tension there. It's a great way to lengthen the back again, just like we did in the other shape we did. And you just hang out here. So by just doing that every day, that whole thing would probably take 15 to 20 minutes. You would find an incredible difference in your spine and your hips and your kind of overall sense of like energy flow. It just seems to release a lot of things and relax you. So that's a good start. And so let me know, there's so much more we could do with legs. I'll do another video where we work legs, but that's a good one for spine. And let me know if you have any questions.